Welcome to the Brave Achievers channel. At this year's WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple announced major updates across its products. From changing the names of their operating systems to version numbers that align with the year after their releases. Hello, iOS 26. Goodbye, iOS 19. To subtle usability tweaks like the wrist flick gesture on Watch OS 26 that lets you dismiss notifications with a Jedi-like move. More intuitive than having to wait for the notification to disappear by itself. There's a lot to applaud. But beyond the incremental improvements, the most talked about and visually striking but change is the new design language Apple calls liquid glass. The idea of liquid glass was inspired by the physicality, richness, and depth of Vision OS. The most noticeable thing about it is that app icons, tab bars, and even the text magnifier you'll see when you hover over words feel brighter, alive, slippery, and sliding like liquid, and yes, glassy. The roundness and softness of the icons and tabs now match the curves of the device. It's a UI designed to feel almost tactile, a step beyond skeuomorphism into something more sensorial. On the surface, liquid glass looks great. It's translucent like glass, making background icons more noticeable. It has a shiny effect that makes icons brighter and more visible, and it adapts to different elements on your screen, especially helpful when you're navigating across light and dark environments. You'll notice it across all Apple apps. For example, in Mail, the context menu expands into a smooth, scannable list. And as you scroll, the icons shift and change to match what's on your screen. It feels fluid, like the interface is responding to your every move. App icons have the liquid glass theme and vary across light mode, dark mode, and colorful themes across the apps and widgets. Core apps like Safari and Camera have also embraced this redesign. Now, web pages in Safari expand to take up the full screen, enhancing focus. The Camera app also has a simplified layout that shows you two main options, photo and video, and you can swipe on the toolbar to reveal other features like the modes and resolution. It's clean, it's modern, it's very Apple. Here's where the design conversation gets interesting. While liquid glass dazzles visually, it raises real concerns about usability. Upon closer inspection, the translucent glass effect reduces readability, particularly in layered contexts such as the control center, where background noise competes with foreground content, resulting in a cluttered appearance. The redesigned context menus, though sleek, can feel hidden. Users may struggle to discover available options without deliberate exploration. And in the Camera app, where quick decisions are crucial, having key features tucked away behind gestures or layers that aren't immediately obvious undermines the intuitive promise. It may look elegant in a demo, but might slow you down when you're trying to capture a moment in real life. Especially for everyday users who just want to find a feature without playing UI hide-and-seek. And let's be real, liquid glass is just glassmorphism with better lighting and a press release. Seasoned designers would recognize it as a trend that's been floating around design circles for years. This doesn't make it bad, but it does make it feel slightly like Apple just gave an old idea a new coat of paint, albeit a really shiny, premium one. In some ways, liquid glass feels like Apple's way of doing something, giving the visual experience a facelift while it quietly irons out the real complexity. AI. The Apple Intelligence rollout wasn't exactly smooth, and this visual shift could be seen as a way to offset that narrative. Still, Apple made some big AI moves too. Third-party app developers will have access to the on-device large language model used by Apple Intelligence, allowing them to create tools of their own. AI-powered live translation is now built into Messages, FaceTime, and phone apps. You can use the integration to automatically translate text in the Messages app, while you'll hear speech translated aloud on the phone app. In FaceTime, Apple will display translated live captions while you listen to your conversation partner. That's a genuine leap in accessibility and multilingual communication. Final thoughts, from a designer's perspective. As a designer, liquid glass is both exciting and frustrating. It's bold, immersive, and technically impressive. But form is starting to encroach on function. Beautiful UI that sacrifices clarity isn't innovation, it's distraction. The best design is invisible. It doesn't need to prove how futuristic it is, and it just works, and users feel good using it. Liquid Glass walks a fine line between enchantment and excess. It signals a shift toward more fluid, almost spatial UI art, and that's exciting. But here's the catch. When clarity and usability take a backseat to visuals, the design is doing too much show and not enough tell. So, is Liquid Glass a good design decision? That depends. If your goal is to impress at first glance, it nails it. But if you're thinking about long-term usability, accessibility, and discoverability, Apple might need to keep iterating. If you enjoyed having this conversation, then hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to be alerted when we share new videos.